you've been paying attention to the news and you've gotten past the Trump indictment stuff, you've seen the UFO whistleblower.
Yeah.
And it's a wild one. I mean, we talked about it on stream. We watched some videos.
We have our metal hats.
We have our metal hats. Maybe we should get those out since we're talking about aliens. Protect our brains.
You never know when they're going to show up. They're already a
You
part
don't
of
know.
us.
You don't know when they're going to show up.
They're already here.
Mine is so ridiculous. You made it so short and stubby. Why do I get such a short and stubby one?
I tried to make yours long. You didn't want it long.
You wanted to give me a pitchfork.
Yeah. There's nothing that says they can't be stylish. Look at that. Look at.
Yeah, yours is way cooler than mine. A pitchfork is like weird. I look like I needed to plug my head into something. So he came out, and now I questioned whether I should cover this or not because this Sunday they're going to have a whole special on News Nation about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. We can follow up, though.
Yeah, we can follow up on it. But I wanted to talk about it because there's a lot of debate around it. Like, you have a lot of people who are still saying that this isn't real at all.
I mean, on stream, we literally watched the, was it the director or producer of the X-Files talking about it?
Yeah, and he put a lot of doubt on it, but at the same time, like, kind of like, we just don't know, and it's unreasonable to think we're alone.
Yeah, he was hoping it was real. But...
Yeah. So he came out and said that there has been a targeted disinformation campaign towards the American public for decades, and that they have possession of UFOs, like of aircrafts, alien, not from this planet aircrafts. And naturally, when you have crashed ships, you have dead pilots, so he says they have bodies.
Sounds like Bob Lazar.
Yep, and that they've been working on trying to recreate this tech and have kept it hidden from the public and Congress, the general government. The Pentagon has come out since and denied it, as well as the DoD, but the DoD did sign off on him saying this. So all they check for is to make sure that he's not leaking classified information.
Sure.
He didn't bring any evidence. He just said his firsthand account of senior officials telling him about this stuff.
You know what's funny, though? If there wasn't worth to it, why would they be worrying about classified information? Because it's not true then.
I mean, him just saying that Arrow exists and that people talk about this stuff in the military isn't classified. Like, he hasn't come up with any video evidence or anything like that. All he said is that we do have it. They talk about this. He hasn't even claimed he's seen it in person. Only that he knows a lot of people involved with it. Well, he's going to be talking to Congress about it.
Okay.
So they're going to have a congressional hearing where he talks about this because Congress wants to sort it out. He's going to go under oath. The interviewer who interviewed him did say he believes him, and that, like, this, what he's saying isn't new, which is true. It's not new. You have Bob Lazar, and there's been other whistleblowers too that don't come out with their names. And I also wanted to talk about, so you remember how you brought up on the stream that, which I'll link the information on this. It's important to read it and hear both sides of it.
Yeah.
So Tom DeLonge, which used to be the singer in Blink-182, came out with a company a while back called To The Stores. It's supposed to be, he claims, he's supposed to be leaking information about aliens slowly.
Working with the government to do it.
Working with government officials to do it.
Yep.
And you remember you brought up the piece of metal that he claimed he had?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, well,
it was how he launched everything, was with this piece of metal that nobody could know what it was, and like it was a mixture of metal that was made with light and sound, and
Okay, so basically, you remember I also told you there's a woman who has similar sources like him who talks about this stuff a lot?
Mm-hmm.
She actually did like a web conference, okay? So this metal that they're talking about, okay, that is in question, they never produced it. Like, they said they were working on reverse engineering it and doing testing on it, but it was extremely vague when he talked about it, and they have never shown it to anybody. Like, to this day. And he came out with this, oh my gosh, was it 2017, 2019, I think? But it sounds exactly like the lecture that Linda Moulton Howe did, who is a UFO researcher and journalist, in 2004. She did a presentation on a metal similarly to this that she said could lift when hit with the right amount of electromagnetic static and a certain RF frequency. So these materials were also mentioned by DeLong on his Joe Rogan interview when he talked about if you hit it with enough terahertz, it floats. So this is a Vice article where they did an interview with Motherboard, Dr. Chris Cogswell, who hosted the Mad Scientist podcast. He has a PhD in chemical engineering. He says they need to be, like, you don't jump to conclusions about the material. He said this metal that they're talking about, that Linda Moulton Howe did an little experiment on, is layered with magnesium and bismuth alloys, which are pretty common and easily explained by science, he says.
Okay. But
it's produced all the time in facilities, I guess.
I couldn't remember if it was a metal that was not of this world or if it was a metal that was of this world and on our periodic table, but because of how it was created, it had a certain reaction to sound and light.
So she shows it in this, and she shows herself, like, she shows them hitting it and it moving.
Being able to hear the physicist talk about, he now is talking about what he's doing, which he was so amazed at seeing that there was any motion at all, and he started trying to see if he put his fingers, he's trying to come down through the fields that would be around the plastic cap, trying to see if he can cause the motion. And in a moment, you will see him, he takes a piece of aluminum cap and as a control. And you can still see on this, the bismuth magnesium never stopped fluttering, moving, and especially these sideways motions, both in a 500,000 volt, and then a month later, he did it with 1,000,000 volts. And we had and with the radio frequency signal, and not only did he get the crab-like motion, when he would turn on the radio frequency signal, the metal would go away from, not toward and not sideways, the metal would definitely go backwards. Now he's just showing what a flip-flop piece of, he just cut it out of an aluminum can. We never ever got anything except that little tiny bit of when he's putting his finger right down over it. It never moved sideways. It never moved forward, backward. But in the bismuth magnesium...
Interesting.
That is.
So, I mean, whatever he has, like, maybe it has those properties. We just don't know. But it is interesting, to say the least. I mean, I think everybody should approach it with some skepticism, but yeah. I think the real evidence here is what they released from the Air Force and Navy. I think it was specifically the Navy pilots.
I mean, literally, the government last year confirmed that there are unidentified flying objects that happen all the time. They did it in a statement and said, yes, confirmed. We have no idea what they are. Now, all you have to have is a single brain cell, a single IQ point to understand that we are the leaders on this planet currently with our planes, with our jets, with our rockets, with our spaceships, with all of that stuff, at least for right now. Other countries are catching up. But right now, we are and have been the leader, and we are seeing things in the sky that we cannot explain. What else could it be? Literally.
And I heard a lot of people
They didn't
saying...
say aliens. They said they are UFOs, and we don't know what they are. Just
Exactly.
want to let you know.
Exactly. And there's video footage of one going into water. Like,
I
flying in
know.
the air and going into water.
The David Fravor one.
We don't have any tech that does anything like that.
No.
And the fact that we have Arrow, the DoD is investigating this stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of people, like, I saw on the news, I saw a lot of news anchors talking about China, and I'm like, I don't know if that's that plausible. And if China is making it, then probably because they are actually succeeding at reverse engineering alien spacecrafts, to be honest. Because I feel like the US and China are pretty close in their tech.
Yeah, maybe now.
What do you mean?
Maybe now. Maybe today.
So I don't know.
We just were the leader for such a long time. And in order for China to, like, go way ahead of us, you got to remember, it's only been, like, the last 10 years that China has really put a ton of money into their military and
space now.
into their space race, into their scientific military uses. They're using a ton of concrete to create very secretive bunkers that we just don't have access to, and all this stuff, right? So the things that we've been doing basically since the 50s and 60s, okay? So have they caught up? I'm sure they have some things, but you got to remember too, like, we've made some very serious moves in World War II, taking all the scientists from Nazi Germany who had all this crazy knowledge with rockets and everything like that, you know, we still have a lot of that knowledge that we haven't even officially started using practically for the military.
Well, that was wild that you called out the Nazi bell-shaped craft, and there's a bell-shaped craft in one of those releases of the military footage.
I know.
So that's really crazy. And if you want to see that, was it last night or the night before?
It was last night.
That we talked about that?
I think. Maybe it was the night before.
I think it was the night before.
Yeah. One of them, we just go through the
June
craft
8th,
videos.
I think June 8th is the VOD for that. But he's a decorated military veteran. Like, this is a guy who's extremely credible. Extremely credible. Wants to go in front of Congress with proof.
Yeah. I know.
Like, I think that
people are in the military that are part of these that are part of these projects, and they want the information to be released to the public, and I think they're trying to do it the right way, you know? They're trying to force the government's hand to let people know that, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, honestly, I just don't understand the military's reasoning for it, because here's the thing, okay? We have no idea what these aliens could do. Maybe they do, and that's why they haven't said anything. But if I was a government, if I was the U.S. government, and I thought maybe there could be an attack from aliens, I would want my people to know, because I would want them to start thinking of defense things too. Because, like, all of a sudden, if you're being attacked from the sky, all your people, all your citizens can be part of the human army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just where my mind goes with it. But I am not a big conspiracy theory person. Like, I love conspiracy theory, but I just think there's reasons and explanations for all of it. You know?
See, Linda Moulton Howe is the one I watched a docu-series with her in it where she talked about how there's a race of aliens that's trying to protect us, and like these are accounts from people who have apparently spoke with alien beings, according to her. Because apparently they have some kind of deal with the U.S. government, and they actually do speak. But she said that there's a deal with one where they let them experiment on us. There's multiple species of aliens, and in this News Nation article, they say that Grush actually admitted that there's multiple different alien species we have spacecrafts from. I didn't see that in the YouTube video we watched about it. That was from News Nation, but it says from multiple species.
I think Bob Lazar is right, where he said, dude, he would have to be so fantastical to come up with like all these fake stories or whatever, and he said there were multiple ships of different shapes and sizes. You would assume that if it was all one race, they would look very similar or have similar designs, right? And he said that there were all kinds of different ones. So,
dude, what if the world out there, the universe out there, is literally like Star Wars or Star Trek, and we just have no idea?
And we're the planet on Star Trek that they go to, and like, oh, like we can't take our ships down there because they're not advanced enough. We have to let them evolve on their own. And we're stuck fighting social LGBT issues instead of giving all humans the same rights.
I mean, it's not that fantastical, to be honest. I think it's extremely self-centered to think that we're the hot shit in the universe.
If I found that out, I would literally hate humanity.
I would too.
If these social issues are what's
I'd be like,
keeping
aliens,
us from
please
being apart,
take me.
Yeah.
Can I go with you, please?
For real. For real. Take me to the Star Wars world or Star Trek world. I mean, shoot, I'd even, join Darth Vader to know.
I don't know if I would do that, but
yeah,
I think I'd rather stay down here and be uninvolved, unless I found out that we're literally going to nuke ourselves, then I would go join Darth Vader.
Right. Yeah. Better out than in.
Yeah, the Pentagon, even though it's confusing to me, because they have, someone from the DOD, a representative came out and spoke about it and said that they have investigated like hundreds of sightings, and they said like, I think like, I'm guesstimating like 98% were nothing. Like, they were explainable, but then they do have a small percentage where they can't figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they were saying there's just no evidence, there's no way to validate what he's saying at all. But then they follow it up with that, well, we've been investigating this, and there's, like, some that we can't, like, figure out, but, most of them are explainable.
Well, I just don't think it's a program that they would open up to all parts of the government, too. So you might have certain parts of the government responding to this that truly believe there's nothing going on.
Absolutely.
And then you have compartmentalization. Then you have other parts of the government that are like, actually, let me give a more real answer. And to us, that would just look really confusing because all we see is one government, okay? And even though they've compartmentalized and they are only letting certain areas know while not others know. So, because you also got to remember too that in a program like this where you're making deals maybe against your will, I mean, who knows? Like that would be the deep state type government, the people that are in government for their entire life, not elected officials, Even though the president has the power to make all the world decisions, they're an elected official that could potentially only be in there for 4 years while other people are in there for 40 years.
True.
So, yeah.
Good point. I mean, I think our intelligence agencies, like the actual people in the field, that are secret, that are undercover operatives that you don't hear about, they're going to be the ones that are going to know all this stuff, probably.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me.
That's what he's essentially saying.
Yeah.
Like head of these operations and some senior agents told him.
Tom DeLonge's company, he has multiple secret agent officials, ex-officials on there from the DOD, from the CIA, from Pentagon Research, from subcontractors used by the government.
Which is it's really funny that he has all those people on his board of directors, yet the Pentagon and DOD explicitly are coming out and saying it's not true or verifiable.
Right. Well, one thing that caught me off guard is they made a statement saying this new company name. It was Arrow, right?
Arrow is the research program by the Department of Defense.
It's a brand new company. Like, it's a brand new acronym.
Yeah.
So, like, everything it says in there, it says that Arrow has no knowledge of past events including this, but Arrow has only been around for like a year.
Yeah, I don't think it's been around that long.
So wouldn't that just like disconnect them from any of the past decisions made? Couldn't they plead the fifth and say, "Oh, we don't know anything. We're brand new. We've only been around from 2021, you know?"
True. I mean, that's a good point. If they haven't been around long, then they weren't a part of, like,
the original decisions made.
Roswell, all of that.
Yeah, and I think that would probably legally release them.
Yeah, they established it July 15th, 2022.
Bam. Exactly.
And they now have a new acronym for UFOs. It's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, so it's UAP.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. There's a reason for this. That was around the same time that the government came out and said, "Hey, these things are real. We know about them."
It's
just saying.
There's a lot of like officials coming out and saying that there's no way to
there probably
verify
isn't anything to verify it because like any of the programs are gonna be secretive. They're going to be classified.
That's what I'm saying. And so I think that whole thing was slowly coming out with the information where it's like an easy digestible pill. You take one every day. Eventually you'll know the truth. Like, you know, like it's easier for people to come to terms with it. I think there's something to be said for that. If they've been keeping a secret from us since Roswell. You know, like, because Roswell's the first big one that we've been lied to and that they've been here.
Maybe from a government perspective, but me personally, like, anyone that can't handle just a truth Band-Aid being ripped off, I don't know. Like, I just don't feel for you and your feelings. Because I would rather have it straight.
I get it, but when they're thinking about what's good for society so that it doesn't go into panic... I get it, and I understand why they would do that. My only question is there has to be a motive. There's always a motive with the government. They do not tell us secrets unless they have to.
Yes, I agree.
They classify everything for a reason.
Everything is classified.
Everything, unless they have to, or something comes out and they their hands are tied.
Yep.
And so we did a story pretty recently about Oumuamua and how they think that it could be a spaceship, a mothership, dropping little tiny ships off of it to explore planets.
On it.
I know. And they used to think this was a meteor. It was named after the people who found it in Hawaii.
Yep.
Or they named it themselves.
I know.
So it's like, is that true? Is what Linda Moulton Howe is saying true, that there's some kind of bad race of alien that's trying to hurt us?
And this is the alien, the bad race?
That's coming. Oumuamua's coming, and the ones that are already here are trying to save our asses.
Huh. Interesting.
That freaks me out.
Yeah.
How long have they known about this? Is that why we've had all these Hollywood movies about spaceships and stuff? Like aliens coming to kill us all?
Interesting. I don't know. I would hope that if we had an alien race protecting us, though, like, if you have the capabilities to get here, you've got to have some weapons. Bros.
Yeah. Which maybe that's what Tom DeLonge figured out. Maybe he made connections about, like, that. Somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it could be.
I don't know. And that's why they're...
What if Hitler was an alien and he was just trying to get home?
Oh. How would that help him get home by killing a bunch of people?
By trying to find all the documents we have to create a ship? He got stranded here, maybe?
Oh, and like precious metals, because he was collecting the relics.
Yeah, I know.
He was collecting relics.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And if you ever watched Ancient Aliens, they talk about like the Holy Grail and stuff and like all that stuff.
Supposedly they had it.
Yeah.
I know.
So what if he was collecting those because those were left over from aliens who helped us in the past?
Yep.
I mean, I've always wondered that. Like, what if all the Hindu gods, all the Greek gods, all the Roman gods, what if they were just all aliens?
I think it's very possible. I really do.
In Hinduism, they have, like, the blue people and stuff. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
It's wild. I like these topics, though, but, like, I go back and forth on the alien stuff.
Well, yeah, because you have to be skeptical. There's always a healthy dose of skepticism. Like, I love how Tucker Carlson came out and said, well, at least we know aliens are real now. And it's like, I've always thought they're real. I do believe they're real. I think you believe they're real for the most part.
Yeah,
but
I just think mathematically it doesn't make sense if they're not.
Same. But it's like, with so much conspiracy...
Yeah, the conspiracy mucks it up for real,
It mucks it up.
I mean, in everything, though, because conspiracies go so far. And just the human-hating conspiracies that there's these 5 families in the world that are trying to own us and turn us into slaves. For me, like, I'm like, ugh, come on, dude.
They already do.
We're already slaves to water and food and gas and internet.
Yeah, that's how we are. They're slaves. What do you?
Yeah, but then why are there all these conspiracies like how
like
much
the concentration
more?
Camps and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
It's ridiculous. Over the top.
I mean, I think there's an alien race in Oumuamua trying to come and slave us for reals. Maybe.
That would be wild.
Would it?
Yeah.
I don't want to live for that.
Yeah.
I want to be dead.
I don't. I want to see it. And see other aliens fight to protect.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool. What is that movie where Tom Hanks, isn't that Aliens where they have to repeat the same battle over and over?
Oh, not Tom Hanks.
What?
No, that's...
Not Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise,
Tom
the
Cruise.
Crazy one.
Yeah.
The crazy one, not Tom Hanks.
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called, but yes, he gets the juice on him from those crazy aliens, and it restarts his day over and over and over because they have that technology or something like that. Yeah. Yep. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Besides his crazy ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up. We covered it a lot on stream, but I want to bring it up because it's like really important and I want to know what everyone thinks about it. Because I'm all for alien conspiracies. I mean, I've watched so much alien stuff, it's stupid. Yeah. There's so much more I could bring up in this, and I've even considered covering like UFO sightings and stuff. I just don't know if I want to get that deep into alien conspiracy on the podcast.
Yeah.
I want to keep this more to relevant and current topics.
Yeah. Or fun crimes.
Or fun stuff.
Yeah.
And aliens gets... Oh my gosh, it just goes so
out
deep.
There.
It gets so out there.
Yeah, it gets out there.
But this is fun.
Yes. Keep my brain safe. That'd be funny if it made it easier to access. They're like, oh, wait, there's that guy. Psh,
Yeah.
On my squirrely cue.
Yours is a perfect conductor.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, that's a wrap. That's really all I got to say. I just want to know what you guys think about David Grush's whistleblowing thing on the UFOs, saying we're recovering their ships that have crashed and their bodies and trying to figure it out, and have been for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch that special this Sunday.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it more.
Give us your opinion. I want to know what you think about aliens. We want average people's takes, non-average people's takes, whatever, you know.
Dude,
because
Bob
I don't
Lazar
think the
and-
news is legit.
Bob Lazar and Linda Moulton Howe, they get so deep into this stuff, too.
I
mean,
know.
it's wild.
I know. And that director that directed the Bob Lazar show on Netflix, it is wild. It is. And it's hard to, it makes me not want to cover topics like this, too, just because it goes too deep.
It's so deep.
Yeah. It gets so far out there. But who knows? Maybe out there's real.
I mean, you'd have to literally do a whole podcast on just that, like, one
Oh, you wouldn't
thing.
even cover it all.
No, you
doing
wouldn't.
that. Yeah, you wouldn't even cover it all. But, yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you think.